Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with The Dangers in My Heart, episode number 9 reaction. So the previous episode, the first part was we get to see Ichikawa and Yamada in the parent-teacher meeting, and we kind of get to see Yamada's mom. We already have seen Ichikawa's mom before, and we see how Ichikawa's mom kind of interacts with Yamada, and obviously, like Ichikawa's mom doesn't know that Yamada, talks to Ichikawa, and so she was like, "Oh, like my kid also, like it's like like is there like hope you talk to him like now and then." And Ichika was like, "Yeah, I talk to him now and then." And there was like this whole conversation. Ichika's mom tries to give us some candy or something, like I think cough drops or something that she gave. And yeah, it was like a very wholesome little, exchange of conversation. And in the end, when Yamada tries to kind of sneak up on Ichikawa, Ichikawa calls Yamada by her name, which she gets embarrassed and she runs away. And that was the first part. The next part was basically Ichikawa getting sick in the rain outside. He was outside. He helped out Yamada by bringing her some stuff that she forgotten in the rain without having like a raincoat or an umbrella. So he got sick, and obviously Yamada got a little bit concerned. Comes to his house and yeah, finds out that he's alone. Almost like she was almost going to go away, but Ichikawa brings her in, gives her some tries to give her some tea, but then he almost falls down, like almost goes unconscious because of his fever. So yeah, Yamada helps him out, and yeah, that was like a situation where Ichikawa doesn't really remember that much. It's like in a daze. He was in a daze, so like he doesn't remember much, but he does remember that Ichikawa came in, and yeah, that was like another little nice little wholesome like thing that happened. So yeah, more character development. So let's see what happens in this episode. This is episode number 9. Let's get started. So I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. So here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, lion. No. Mm, I partake a bit. As a friend of. What? I wasn't able to read properly. Oh, yeah. Oh my, you idiot. Oh god, this guy. Basketball club. Oh, she's going in this direction. Alright. Wow, that's. Oh god. He's really clueless. He's like, what's going on? Why is she. Yeah, like she's experiencing that now, currently. uh, it's crazy how in episode 1 we had that guy who was like, "Oh, you have line? Come on, exchange the ID." And she was trying to keep him not trying to bother her by acting as if she doesn't know what it is. But now here she is like like asking Ichikawa for, obviously not directly, trying to kind of hint that, oh, but Ichikawa's an idiot, so yeah. And obviously Ichikawa, like isn't really used to all of this. So he doesn't. The fact that she might be actually asking, like, this is like her roundabout way of asking him that, oh, why don't we exchange IDs? That is something that will probably take a long while to actually register in Ichikawa's head. Because, yeah, he's not used to this. That's why. December 16th. Yeah. Look at Yamada. What? Everyone? Yeah. Oh god. Wow. He's like, wait, what? What? Oh, it took me a while to understand what she is trying to say. Slime. Okay. Ichi? Wow. Oh my god. Wait, is that Rem? Yo! Yeah? Well, she's pissed because she kind of tried to ask you to give higher ups. Ishimuro? Who the hell is that? Okay. Oh, wow. Oh! Okay, she's doing. Yeah. What? That's a weird way of saying that. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. He'll be like, oh, he just realized. Wow. Yeah, that would have. He just realized. He's like, why everyone's like, oh boy. Yeah, that is what is happening. Oh no! What the hell? This kid. Yo, Adachi needs to just chill. I think that was his name, yeah. Hmm. Oh, he's reading that manga. Wow. Oh god, that was funny. The way he threw the book. Well, that's basically you. Wow. Hmm. I never said I didn't. Hmm. What the? Oh, this dude. Yeah, that guy in first episode. Animal Crossing. Iron Defense. What was his name? I forgot. Oh wait, yeah. Who's this? What? Okay. What? Really? Yeah. Good God. Wow. Mm. Well, because it's not gonna be fun. Yeah. Mm. Well, well, she's depressed. What? Yo, she's crying actually. Wow. He has his murder diary with him. Smitch. Oh, is that why? Damn. The forbidden memories. Okay. Oh wow. She has everything. Yep. Haruya. Oh, that's his name. Mm. Oh god. Oh boy. Yeah. They're like, wait, what's going on here? Yeah, they probably realized. I think because otherwise they're like, why is she acting like this? What? Oh god, this guy's here. Why did she bring him here? What the hell is going on? But Oh, he's thinking that. Uh, 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 All right. I don't understand. Why did she bring him here? What's going on? Like, okay. Hmm. Well, that's what she want. Oh God. Oh boy. Well, yes. Yeah. Oh, she's heartbroken now. Wow. This is an awkward situation. Oh boy. Yeah, she's pissed. Wow. She ran. She ran. Yes. Oh God, this guy's here. Oh boy. Yeah, why were we just waiting here? What the hell? Oh no, he's going to think that Yamada did that too. Oh boy. Come on, not up until now. Like, dude. Oh God. No, that doesn't explain it all. Oh boy. Great, he's back with his murder encyclopedia. What's happening? Where's the camera? Oh, because she was moving. Oh boy, he needs to, little by little, he needs to change this part of him, this inferiority complex, because this is something that he needs to actually overcome. Oh, he's running fast. Well, I don't think you can run away from her. Yo! Oh my god. Damn! Yo! Okay. Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, but he said that because he thought Yamada was going to get inconvenienced because of that. Come on, yo. Oh, he's too. Like, yeah, what are you doing? Come on. Like, up until now, like, you think everything has been a like an act? Come on, like, you can't be that. Hmm. It was his pride and his. I wouldn't call it a pride, but a weird inferiority complex, like a pride in his inferiority complex, I guess you could say, in a twisted way. Yeah, that's what I was saying. His inferiority complex was like a. Hmm. Yeah, that's why he lies. Oh. Well, there you go. There's no one here. Hmm. Ah. Wow, magically the whole school is empty. But I guess it's time to go back. That's why everyone's back home. Hmm. Yeah, 40 times? Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Why is that a problem? Everyone's, like, human beings are different. No, not about Nut though. She wants to talk to you, this idiot. Dad's hometown. Oh, Akta. Yes, he talks about food immediately. Ah. Yeah, no. Line ID, come on. Oh, wait, I thought you. What? Oh, the manga. Both right in the margins of the. Well, there you go, you have something in common. Well, what happened? What was that? Why did she suddenly stop? Excuse me, talking. Yeah. Okay. What's happening? Why is she? Oh, because oh my god, that's why it took me so long to understand what she's trying to do. She's she just wants to meet. That's why she's like, oh, I forgot to bring it. Better bring it tomorrow. And eventually that. Okay. That was a good plan. Not gonna lie. She was like, yeah, we gotta meet, so gotta exchange the line ID. Hmm. Oh, 24. Oh, Christmas Eve. What? This is what they Oh my god. How's 2 p.m. son? It's today already. Yeah, yeah. Good night. Okay, that is it. So, this episode was very nice. It had a lot of development, you know. And in the end, I realized, for a moment, I was like, why is she like, why is she acting like this? But then it struck me. I'm like, oh, she basically like as soon as she realized that the next day would be the final day for the the school day, and then the vacation will start. She came up with a brilliant plan to get his line ID. It had it was a step by step plan. The first thing she was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to bring the next volume, you know, on the next day. And he was like, all right, yeah. In comes the next day, and she's like, oh, I forgot it. Yeah, Bell, bring it tomorrow because it's very interesting. And he's like, wait a minute, tomorrow it's our vacation starts. It's 24th. And she's like, oh yeah, but nah, I gotta bring it. So let's meet. Um, so yeah, give me your line ID. Like I said, it was a step-by-step plan to ultimately get to her goal. But yeah, it was successful, I guess. Yeah, okay. And that is why she suddenly got like brightened up so much as soon as she realized that, oh, I can get the line ID like this. And not only the line ID, but she'll also meet Ichikawa as well, which is another bonus, I guess. All right, so yeah, this episode, we begin with Ichikawa in the library as always, and Yamada is talking about line IDs and stuff, trying to kind of insinuate that, oh, why don't we exchange? But this is Ichikawa we are talking about. Cryptic words won't really get through to him because he's already very has a lot of inferiority complex. Wouldn't really understand that Yamada's actually asking for his line ID. So he's like yeah, like kind of talking in a very normal way when Yamada's clearly hinting that she wants to exchange line ID. He doesn't understand it. And Yamada's like, oh, you see, like these little stickers look so cute, don't you want to exchange it? And he's like, not necessarily. There you go, plan failed. Then she's like, oh, what about the group line, the line group that your club has? Like, what about that? And he's like, oh no, because nobody invited me. And she tries to go through that direction. She was like, oh, then why don't we ask them? And like that, she was probably going to ask his line ID out. But he's like, no, I don't want to, because like the fact that they didn't really tell me kind of means they don't want me to join. So again, plan failed. Huh. So yeah, that didn't work. Now in class, you see that again, like the whole thing with line ID is kind of the whole topic of line ID is coming up. Moe is like, oh, like let's exchange line IDs from all the boys in this class, and it's Yamada's like, great idea, because like that kind of gives her like a way to ask Ichikawa's line ID out. So she's like, good job, Moe. Immediately goes to Ichikawa, and she's like, just sits down in front of him. This part, it took me a while to understand what Moe was saying. She was like, why send a level 99 out to handle slimes? For a moment, I actually thought she was talking about some I didn't realize that was like a book. I don't know why I thought that was like Ichikawa's mobile in his hand. So I thought for a moment, I thought Moe was talking about maybe some mobile game that Ichikawa was playing or something. I was like, what is she talking about? And then I realized like, oh no, she's actually saying that Ichikawa's a slime while Yamada's a level 99 player. So that's what she was saying. That's what she said. and it struck to me, and I was like, oh, okay. But either way, okay. All right. So here, Yamada's like, I thought you were going to exchange IDs with everyone. Mo's like, oh yeah, you're right. All right then. So Ichi, I think that's what she calls him. Give me your line ID, and obviously she directly asked him. That's why he wasn't really able to reject it. So he's like, all right, fine. Like I feel like if Yamada went in this direction, if she was like, oh, give me your ID, like I'm pretty sure he would have given it. But because obviously Yamada doesn't really want to directly attack like this, and since she's kind of just trying to kind of show that, oh, I want to exchange, kind of hint at it, it's not working because Ichikawa, yeah, it wouldn't really get through Ichikawa's skull because he's not used to any of these. So yeah, so here this part was kind of funny because like the profile picture was like Rem from ReZero, and she just just directly she's like, oh, that's Rem from ReZero. Like I don't know why, but I feel like nowadays, like animes don't actually care. Usually, previously, back in the few even a few years ago, like whenever other animes used to bring up other anime's name, they used to like censor it, like censor it or change it. I feel like nowadays animes don't even do that, and it's crazy how like I remember Gintama, like, oh my god, like going through so many weird weird censorship way to kind of like because Gintama has so many references from other animes. So they censor it, so not censor but kind of change it so much. It's so hilarious. But I feel like I've seen another anime recent. Which anime was it? But they literally don't care about censoring. They just directly just brings out the names of other animes. It's crazy. Which anime was it? Like I remember another anime like this. Just I cannot remember which it is, but it was some other anime. I remember like all the names were as it is, just out there, and so yeah, she's like, oh, this is a Rem from ReZero, and then she's like, I'm more of a Ram fan myself. Okay, so just a minute. So obviously after this happens, Yamada kind of gets a little bit mad because like he's not understanding that she wants to exchange line ID with him. So here Moe is like, all right, so let's like, wait, is her name even Moe, or am I actually, wait a minute, oh no, okay, I might be making a mistake here. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm just going to check. Is her name Moe or is it something else? Dangers in my. Like, what's the other girl's name? The little girl? Not little, but the the girl who's always with her. Just a minute. Oh yeah, her name is Moe. Oh, Chi. Okay, okay, Chihiro. Chi. Chi is the other girl's name. The girl who's always with Yamada, and this girl's name is Moe. Okay, I was right. So she's like, all right, let's ask the person who's like the most popular in this class. So the most popular is Ichimura, something like that. I think that was the name. And she's like, oh, let's go ask him. And she's like, oh, he's in the same like an apartment as me. And here Yamada comes up with the idea that, oh, let me try to make him bothered by this, like, because obviously like Ichikawa, she wanted to do it like that. So she was like, all right, tries to kind of act as if like, oh, she knows him and talks to him. Like here when he was like Moe was like, oh, you are in the same apartment, so are you like friends with him or something? And she's like, yeah, kind of. And then she's like, oh, then you have his line ID as well. And she's like, oh no, that I don't have. So obviously here like Ichikawa obviously doesn't like like the whole situation, he wasn't really comfortable with this. But at the same time, he's like, oh, like why? What am I to say in this situation? You know, like whoever she wants to exchange her line ID with, she can do it. So now, crazy thing happens here is like he actually understand. It actually goes through his head what was happening, because like what happened, like he realized when Yamada went to this Ichimuro guy, and Yamada was like, oh, like you have line ID. He realized, Ichikawa realized that, oh, this is exactly what was happening in the library. And he probably kind of realized this is what was happening, and he was like, oh no, I made a mistake. I didn't realize that this was what she was trying to say. So he's like, oh no, next time I'm going to say yes, like why don't we exchange? Like he realized what was happening, and that whole scene, what Yamada was trying to do. He just gets up and he's like, ah, like kind of makes an exclamation noise. And everyone looks at him weird, and they're like, oh my god, this kid is crazy. And then obviously that little exclamation kind of made Yamada realize that, oh, like he understood. And the next part was kind of weird when he was like, okay, I'm going to say that, yeah, I use it, I do have a line ID. And he's in his head, he's like saying that, and he's like, as soon as Yamada's going to come and ask me, I'm going to say this immediately. In comes the other kid. Oh god, I again forgot his name. His name is a weird one. Um, whatever that kid's name is, like it's weird how I sometimes remember his name and sometimes forget his name. Anyways, he comes in and he's like, oh, like, wait, what does he say? Just a minute. Let me just check. Oh, okay. The subtitles is a little bit like like kind of the whole thing got lost in translation. She says like he says that chanto yatteru, like, oh, like you're doing it, something like that. I guess the rough translation. While the like the translated subtitle here was, you ever check if your sis is up to date? And he's like, yeah, I do, or yatteru, like, yeah. So and then he kind of like like does, oh, you're trying to like date your sister, like, yeah, that was like like that translation was correct. But before that was like chanto yatteru, like, are you doing it? And he's like, yeah, I'm doing it. And that's why he's like, oh, you're trying to date your sister, like that was the whole joke. Good god, this kid. Oh. But anyways, next we see Ichikawa is back at his house and reading the manga. And he's like, this part was one of my one of the funniest parts, at least for me, because I love like that part was hilarious. Where's that part where he just he's like reading the book, and he's like, oh, like does a kid like this even exist? Like really nice, under the surface, charming, a little awkward, and then he just throws the book like this. Guys like that don't exist in real life. I don't know why this part kind of cracked me up, the way he throws the book. Okay, you know what? It's interesting because, like, oh god, like the thing that he says here, that's literally him. He says that the person in this book is a little distant and curt, really nice under the surface, kind of charming and a little awkward. Yeah, like I guess you could say that is basically him if you think about it. But obviously he's not going to realize that, and he's like, oh, like like this type of person doesn't exist. But anyways, he then gets like a reminder of the different things he went through with Yamada, different little memories that he has. And he's like, oh no, I shouldn't think about all this. I shouldn't give myself hope. And all right, next day when he goes to school, this guy, the pickup senpai guy, whatever the hell his name is, he's trying to ask like Yamada out again. Obviously, Chi is being a wall, and she's like, Oh, like Yamada only praises Animal Crossings. Okay, but here, okay, now, first of all, so what the hell is up with this girl? Like, so she likes this dude, then why the hell is she here with him when he's clearly asking Yamada out? Like, what a weird scene. Like, I have to say, like, I think they kind of comment about that a little bit later. I think, like like Moe kind of talks about that, but still, okay. Anyways, when that part comes, I'm going to talk about that. But at least, like in this situation, this. Oh no! Here we go. This is the scene. All right. Moe's like, who is that though? Think that's his girlfriend, and he's like, the other girl is like, no. If it was, he wouldn't be going after Yamada like that, right? Yeah, I doubt she's his girlfriend. That's not the case. And Moe is like, oh, sure he would. Guy's a polygamist. Wow. Yeah, polygamist. Okay, so that okay, it's really weird because this is the thing. First of all, if she was actually she liked this pickup senpai guy, then why is she there twirling her hair? You see her what she's doing here? Constantly twirling her hair, in front. So I don't know. Is she trying to appeal? Like I feel like that's like a way of trying to appeal to someone. What? I'm really confused by this girl. I feel like something else is going on. Like then you see that scene, that other scene where later on this guy, not this guy, but she comes to the library and she realizes that oh Yamada probably likes Ichikawa, and she immediately goes and brings this dude here in the library, and then that whole scene happens. That is also another weird. Why did she bring him there? Like to make him see that? Like I don't know. I don't understand this. Anyways, like whatever. Like I feel like one thing I can kind of like that might be the case. She was probably like like trying to, but still it doesn't make sense. Like if she was actually trying to make this guy lose interest in Yamada, that is why she brought him over into the library so that he sees her and Ichikawa together. If that was the intention, why is she just standing here in this scene, in this current scene? Why is she standing here while this guy is trying to invite Yamada? Like why is she looking so happy, twirling her hair? It doesn't make sense. Shouldn't she be frustrated or jealous or I don't know, angry? This is the part that's making me think like something else is going on here, like, or I don't know, like doesn't make sense. Like if that is exactly what happened later on, if like that is the intention she had, that oh she brought this guy in so that she can see Yamada and Ichikawa together and he loses interest. If that was her intention, that is why she went and brought him in the library. Why in this scene is she just looking so happy twirling her hair while literally beside her she's asking Yamada out? That is what's making like like shouldn't she be angry or jealous? Like I don't know. Like anyways, let me stop thinking about this. I don't think it's going to make sense to me. At least like for now. Like hope maybe in the future episodes I realize what's going on. But either way, so after that, oh so okay, so yeah, this pickup senpai guy, he's like, oh then Kobayashi, that's I think Chi's last name. He's like, oh Kobayashi, like you also come. And she's like, me? Like, oh, okay, I'm going to come. Now, obviously, like here, like Yamada immediately realized what's going on, and she later on she tells Chi that, oh, you shouldn't really go there. And she's like, oh, why? Like like, and she's like, no, you shouldn't. Like that guy is kind of, and she's like, oh, like it's not like you to talk bad about someone, and. Obviously, Yamada cannot really tell Chi that she's just being used as a bait, but like she cannot really say that, so she's just frustrated here, and She's like, all right, whatever, do whatever the hell you want to, but I warned you. And okay, now later in the library, you can see Yamada's crying. I'm guessing because of that whole thing, because she didn't really, like listen to her, and that's why she's like crying. And then when Ichikawa comes in, she immediately like bursts out into a smile. That was cute. And yeah, Ichikawa is like, okay, gets in, and yeah, they start having conversation. They talk about the switch or smitch in this situation. And like he remembers his childhood where he and his friends were like talking about the smidge, and he said something like, oh, I've played the demo at Yodo, but the controls were dumb. Yeah, that's why, like it's just for casual gamers. This is the same scene we see later on, when his sister was there with him, and he was playing, and he was acting as if he didn't need it, but he clearly like wanted it. That. So this is, I'm guessing, like kind of related to that. Now he's in his class. He's like, oh, I played the demo there. It's just for casual gamers, not for someone like me. Something like that. Anyways, he got reminded of that, and he get reminded of that. And he's like, oh, my forbidden memories, it's coming back. Gotta stop that. Anyways, and Yamada talks about how she has every freaking console in her house, like the Switch, the PlayStation, like the PC. She even has a PC, so everything she has. And she's like, oh, my dad plays games, so like we have everything at home. That's kind of cool, like dad playing games. Like her dad is a gamer. Kind of rare to see, especially in anime. Dad being a gamer. Oh boy. Not even in anime, in real life as well. Whose dad is a gamer is very less amount of people. But anyways, okay, so here they're having this whole conversation. In comes the girl and another girl, her friend. So like seeing that situation, immediately Ichikawa stands up and just goes, because like he doesn't really want to make it awkward for Yamada, or make it like, because in his head he's like, oh, if the people see me with Yamada, they'll ask questions, and Yamada will be like troubled. So he immediately gets up and just leaves to a certain distance. And yeah, this girl comes in. Okay, here she comes in and she's like, sorry about that earlier. Haruya, okay, that's his name. I mean, Nanjo can get little carried away. Okay, you know what? I don't think she likes the other guy, like this Nanjo guy or her, whatever. I don't think so. It's very clear from this whole conversation that she probably doesn't like him or something. She's just his friend, because like otherwise it doesn't make sense why she was just is there someone in that class that she likes, and that is why she was standing there twirling her hair? I feel like that's the case. It wasn't him. Like, it's easy to kind of mistake that scene as to feel like, oh, maybe she likes that guy, this Nanjo guy. But that scene and this scene here, where she's so casual here, she's like, oh, like, don't worry about it. He's kind of like this, like just don't take it seriously. Like, this way of conversation, she's very casual with it. She's not angry, she's not jealous, nothing. None of those emotions you can see in her. So it's clear that she doesn't really feel anything about him. So then that brings out the question, why was she outside the classroom just twirling her hair, blushing, looking down? Maybe there's someone in that class that she likes. Or maybe, I don't know, something else. I have no idea. But either way, I'm pretty sure she doesn't really like him. Okay, so here or I don't know, who knows, maybe because Ichikawa here suddenly says like, oh, like she's trying to act buddy. Like, where's that part? trying to drive home how buddy buddy they are. Okay, is it? I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna stop trying to decipher this whole thing because I really am. I have no clue. Like, because according to Ichikawa, like she's trying to act buddy buddy to kind of show the dominance. That type of thing. I can understand. That's what I'm guessing from Ichikawa's way of speaking on this. However, I don't think that is the case. I genuinely think she doesn't care about him. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ichikawa's right. Maybe this is her way of showing, like, oh, look at how good friends we are. That type of thing. But I don't know. Anyways, enough of that. Like I said, I'm going to stop trying to decipher this whole whole mystery. Okay, so the other girl is like, oh, you clearly have a boyfriend, don't you, Yamada? And Yamada's like, oh no, I don't. And you're kidding, aren't you? And okay, so you can see that Yamada's like trying to say that, oh, I don't, because she clearly realizes that Ichikawa's there listening to the whole thing. So the other girls are like, oh, you're just trying to pretend, aren't you, because you're in the TV and stuff. And she actually gets up, starts screaming. She's like, I really don't have one. And they're like, okay. And then she looks at Ichikawa and she's like, I don't, Okay, this scene to an outsider is so freaking, what can I say? Like suggestive, I guess you could say, one way. Like, if you're an outsider and if you see this whole scene, you immediately realize she likes Ichikawa. You immediately realize that. So I think that is what happens. Like, when these two girls, she looks at that scene and she's like, oh, seriously? And she's like, oh, nothing. Let's get going. Goodbye. Leaves. All right. So obviously, I'm pretty sure she realized what's going on, and she realized that Yamada likes Ichikawa, and that is why she was so surprised. She was like, seriously? Like, and then she leaves. And obviously here Yamada is trying to kind of make Ichikawa understand that she actually doesn't have a boyfriend. I guess it was already established, if you remember, before. So I don't think it's like a big deal. I'm pretty sure Ichikawa also probably knew that, and he probably wouldn't really care about at this point because he knows. But at least for Yamada didn't want any more misunderstanding to happen, and that's why she wanted to make it clear. So after that, Ichikawa was like, oh, you shouldn't really hang out with me when people are around, okay? And now, obviously, he's saying this because he doesn't want Yamada to get into trouble, or, not trouble, but Yamada to have, people talking about her, making rumors about them, because he thinks that it's going to inconvenience Yamada. So that's why he's, not really she's trying to tell her that, oh, you shouldn't really hang out with me where people are there. However, I'm guessing Yamada kind of took it in a different way. She probably thought that, oh, he doesn't like when people see us together or something like that. Weird situation here. Yeah, definitely that is not the case, but still Yamada misunderstood. Okay, so here now this, and again, I don't understand this part then. Why the hell did this girl bring him over here? Like, to show, I'm genuinely confused, because she could just tell him about this situation, but she didn't tell anything to him. She just brought him here. Like for what reason? To show that they're spending time together, or they're maybe that's what she was trying to do. But then why? At this, I don't know. You know what? Like I said, I'm gonna stop thinking about this because this girl genuinely confuses me. This girl. What the hell she was trying to do, I don't understand. First of all, I'm not exactly sure if she actually likes him or not. That's one thing. Another thing, if she actually doesn't like him, obviously she doesn't really think much about him, why the hell did she bring him here to show the Yamada and Ichikawa together? doesn't make sense. Now, it does make sense if she actually likes him, and that's why she probably brought him to show this scene. But I don't know, I get the feeling that she doesn't like him, but I might be wrong. Ichikawa might be right, as Ichikawa said, that she's basically trying to show her dominance by acting as if, like, oh, we're so buddy buddy, you know. But, anyways, like I said, I'm just going to stop thinking about the reasons. But what happened here is, like, she brought him over here. In this situation, obviously, Yamada, like, you know, like kind of goes close to him. And, okay, yeah, goes close to him. And, okay, this scene, obviously, if they kind of see and they leave, and Ichikawa's confused. Ichikawa's like, what's going on? And she then says, like, oh, sorry, let's get going, and leaves. Now, I knew that Ichikawa probably was going to think of this whole situation in a different way. He probably would realize that, oh, this was what's going on, and she's probably trying to use me. I knew that was going to happen, and that is exactly what happens. A little bit later, he realizes, like, oh, that must be what was going on. But obviously, that wasn't the whole reason. You know, maybe it was part of it, but not the whole reason. Obviously, she's not using you, but it's just, yeah. Anyways, so later on, we get to see that Moe tells Chi about the whole situation, says that, oh, she's just baiting you, trying to use you to bring Yamada. And she realizes that, while Yamada is just kind of fidgeting, staying there, kind of like, you know, getting embarrassed because, you know, of that whole scene that happened before. Later, Chi comes to Yamada and, like, you know, like, she's like, oh, like, you know, tries to kind of stop her to talk to her. But she's not listening. She's pissed, you know, rightfully so. Because when she tried to warn you, she didn't really listen to her. So she tries to leave, and then in the end, she calls her like something like, what did she call her? Big stupid she giant. Wow. She gets angry and just tries to, like, you know, chase her down, grabs her, and then in the end they have like a conversation. She apologizes and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to go. And she's like, all right, you know, like, what am I going to do with you? Come on, let's go. And Ichikawa's like, oh, thank God, peace is back within the girls. Okay, now then this guy, this pickup senpai guy, he's just standing. This guy's so weird. Like, why the hell? Like, what was that about? He was just standing in the locker room, just looking at them. Like, dude. Oh God. All right. After that, he goes home, reads the manga, kind of thinks about what's going on, and then it strikes to him that, oh, maybe she's using me, you know, to just, you know, like, get out of that situation. And then he's like, oh, she has always been using me. Now, yeah, from this part onwards, things starts escalating in a bad direction. And like I said, you know, I guess this is because of him. Obviously, he always had like low self-esteem and inferiority complex. Not only that, he kind of, you know, like, Yamada is the type of person who, at least he thinks, is someone who is beyond his reach. So, you know, he doesn't really try to, like, you know, he tries to look away from that because he doesn't want getting hurt and getting disappointed by the end of it. So he has this, like, you know, like, attitude, like, you know, kind of looks at this whole situation like this because he doesn't really want to get disappointed in the end. And that's why his, I guess you could say, his self-defense mechanism kind of kicks in, and he, in his head, he thinks of all of these things where he's like, oh, she was just using me. So obviously, but like, if you just think about it, that is definitely not the case. Like, if he just sat down, relaxed, and thought about the whole situation properly, he would realize, like, obviously that is not the case. Because, like, yeah, like, the amount of time that you have spent with her, you know, like, how can you say that everything that she did up until now was something that she was doing to use you? It's very clear, it's very logical if you think about it. But that didn't, like, you know, he couldn't really understand that, or he didn't really think about that, because his self-defense mechanism always is like, oh, try to look away. because you're going to get hurt otherwise if you get attached. That is why. But anyways, he's trying to keep, like, like in school, he's trying to just keep quiet, not really interacting with Yamada, doesn't go to the library. Yamada is concerned. This part was so funny because he starts running down the stairs and Yamada also starts running down the stairs. This part actually like surprised me because I didn't expect her to actually grab him and just shove him to the wall and give a kabedon. That was unexpected. I was not expecting that, but that was crazy. And then she's like, "Oh, you're mad at me? Why? Tell me. Did I do something wrong?" And okay, so Ichikawa is then like, "Oh no, nothing. Like, no problem." And she sees someone else coming, and she like immediately like just like, goes back. And Ichikawa realizes she did that because before Ichikawa said that, "Oh, like don't don't come close to me when other people are there." That's why she's doing. And then he's like, "Oh, okay, so goodbye," like tries to leave, and obviously Ichikawa starts, Yamada starts crying here. And at this point, like I said, that he was kind of going a bit too far, Ichikawa. When she says like, "Oh, I'm sorry," in his head, he's like, "Oh, did she take a hit to her pride?" Now, like I said, when he realized what's going on, and he's here, like kind of realizes himself that, "Oh no, it isn't Yamada, but it's actually me who is afraid." And this realization, he kind of relates this with his past experiences. This part was interesting because here we get a flashback where he remembers that he was playing a game, that demo game, that Smith or whatever, and he was clearly enjoying it. And his sister was like, "Oh, if you like it that much, why don't tell mom?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. I don't like it. That's lame. Yeah, I was just checking it out. It's okay." That he like I feel like this is something that always like everyone he has. Like, okay, I'm going to read this part. He says that, "I just wanted an excuse to hate her." Picks up the tissue. The flashback comes in, and her sister is like, "Want me to tell mom you want it?" And he's like, "No, it wasn't even that good." She says, "You played for 2 whole hours." "I wanted it more than anything, but knew it was hard to come by. I was afraid of getting too obsessed." Okay, and yeah, that is why he made up an excuse to hate it, and that is what he has been doing up until now. Everything, anything that he likes, and everything that he kind of like, his whole edgy way of looking at the world is because of that. He acts as if like, "Oh, like I don't need any friends make me weak." And again, another excuse just so that he doesn't get disappointed, because he knows that it's like because people really doesn't want to be his friend, and he doesn't really have that many friends. He knows that if he tries to make friends and has like a hope for it, he's going to get disappointed by the end of it. That is why his whole edgy persona about, "Oh, I don't need any friends make me weak," all the other things, everything in his life that he just acts as if like oh, he doesn't care about. Yeah, those are all like self-defense mechanisms just to protect him, so that he doesn't get obsessed or attached to something, and by the end of it, he might get disappointed. Just to keep him safe for that, his self-defense mechanism kicks in. And that is exactly what was happening here. Obviously, if you just think about the situation logically, if he thought about it, he would immediately realize like, "Oh, it was not that case. Yamada's not really using me. She's genuinely trying to be my friend." But, yeah, logic won't really work in this situation because his self-defense mechanism kicks in. And because of that, in a twisted way, he thinks that, "Oh, Yamada's trying to use me." And he wanted like a reason to hate her, so that he doesn't, his heart doesn't get broken in the end. So yeah, that whole thing. So I feel like everyone has that. this whole thing of not wishing too high in case you get disappointed. Like, like for example, like your dreams. Like, let's talk about people's dreams. People have a lot of dreams. Maybe someone has a dream about, I don't know, like, like some kind of a really nice dream. Maybe like, maybe like a, what can I say, like, okay, maybe like a competition, like, a person loves to sing, like he's trying to, like, like increase his skilling, like in singing talent, and he has a dream of one day, like, going in a worldwide competition and winning, like a huge dream. Yeah, most of the cases, even though that is the final goal, people wouldn't really think about that, because they would be like, oh, if I hope for that high, I'm going to get disappointed if I'm not able to get that by the end of it. So to protect themselves from that, they don't really aspire or dream that high. They keep it low, and keep it within, like, like within parameters. And because they don't want to get disappointed, like, that is why, like a lot of people say this, that, oh, I'm not hoping for too much, just in case it fails and I'm disappointed, so I'm going to get disappointed. So if I don't hope or don't wish for it, then yeah, there's no point in disappointment, because, like, like I never really wish for it, if I'm trying to properly explain what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that type of thing, he doesn't really hope for anything, so that he doesn't get disappointed. And everyone has that. For him, at least, it's a little bit in a higher level, because that is how he has been living his life forever. So coming across Yamada, who genuinely wants to make a connection with him, like, he's realizing that, oh, maybe I'm the one at wrong here, maybe I'm the one who's making this situation more complicated, and yeah, I'm the one who's being an actual, prick now. And after, like, he realizes that, and he's like, yeah, it's probably me. And in the end, he tries to, like, smooth over it, and he's like, oh, I had something to do in my lunch break. And and then she just, like, like hugs him, and then she kind of goes back, because she thought, like, oh, he doesn't like, getting close to me. And she's like, oh, it's just a, like, like a makeup hug. But then Ichikawa kind of, like, kind of like grabs her hand and scoots closer, and he's like, oh no, it's fine. Okay. And then after that, like, they come out of school, and Ichikawa's like, everything is kind of okay now. Yamada's talking to Ichikawa about Natto or whatever, and Ichikawa's like, I don't like Natto. And again, like, this part, like, when he was going away, Yamada grabs his bike, and she's like, let's talk a little bit more. And he's like, how bad is she hurting to talk about Natto? And I'm like, you idiot. It's not that she wants to talk about Natto, it's that she wants to talk about with you. Good God, how dense can you be? But yeah, fair enough. He doesn't really have any kind of, like he's learning little by little. He's learning. But yeah, so after this, Yamada is like, oh, like, are you going to do something in this upcoming vacation? And he's like, oh, I'm going to go into my father's, like, like, place. And, like, she talks about, like, food over there and, like, stuff. And then she brings out the manga volume, gives it to her, and she's like, oh, did you like it? Okay. She says, what did you like the best? He says, they both write in the margins of the notebook. Okay, so, and she's like, oh, me too. And here we go, they have, like, a common interest. A few moments ago, he was kind of saying, like, oh, we don't really have any common interests. There you go, you do have one. Okay, so here she comes up with, I feel like she came up with this whole idea over here. She's like, okay, I'm going to bring the next volume next Monday. Says goodbye. Next Monday comes in, and she's like, oh, I forgot. Now I'm pretty sure she deliberately forgot here because she wanted an excuse to get that line ID and an excuse to hang out with him in a vacation. So he's like, oh, it's fine. And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna bring it tomorrow. He's like, but winter break starts tomorrow. And she's like, oh, yeah. Guess we'll have to meet up somewhere then. And then she's like, no, I'm going to give it to you. Volume 3 ends on a real cliffhanger, right? You have to read the Oh god. And then she's like, alright, then give me your line ID. There you go. Mission successful. She did end up getting line ID. And here Ichikawa, you remember Ichikawa was before a few moments ago, he was like, oh, next time she asks my line ID, I'm definitely going to give it to her. So yeah, he gives it to her. So yeah, and then she's like, alright, meet you tomorrow. Okay, this part I need to read. What the hell type of messages are they sending each other? Okay. Oh my god, what's happening here? Why are they typing all? One of those looks funny. I win. Oh, they're playing like a game here. Okay. I'm like, what what type of conversation is this? Okay, so yeah, in the end, she's like, tomorrow by Hachiko in Shibuya. How does 2 p.m. sound? And he's like, it's today already. And yeah, so there you go. They made a plan to meet together. And she has his line ID. So yeah, mission successful in all fronts. And that's where it ended. So there you go. Another episode of very nice developments. A major development happened in today's episode, I have to say. And like little by little, Ichikawa is realizing that, oh, you know what, maybe she really does want to kind of talk to me. Maybe these aren't like, she's not trying to kind of like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure he realized that from the beginning. But like I said, like, and he himself realized that it is actually him who tries to find out reasons to make him hate Yamada, because he was getting concerned that the more he gets kind of swept out up on her pace, and the more he gets attached to her, later on he'll get hurt more. And that is why, to save save himself from that, protect himself from that, he was like making up those weird reasoning as to oh, Yamada was using me, and trying to figure out find out reasons to think that, oh, Yamada, reasons to trying to figure out reasons to hate Yamada. But in the end, he realizes that, oh, it's actually me, it's not her, she's not doing any of those, it's me, I'm trying to do this. And yeah, thankfully he realized it, and he decided to, I'm hoping he's, from this point onwards, he'll probably try to keep that away, and try to genuinely be better friends with her. And yeah, it's still kind of difficult, because yeah, for a long time he didn't really have that many friends, and this type of situation he hasn't really gone through it, this is completely new to him. So it's still so difficult, and I'm sure he's going to mess up from here onwards as well. But at least Yamada is the type of girl who doesn't really who's very persistent, and I really like that. This episode was crazy. I feel like if this was some other anime and Yamada was probably not the person in this situation, if it was some other anime or some other girl, this whole episode probably would have ended in a whole misunderstanding, and that is how it would have gone for upcoming 3 episodes. So this whole drama would have continued for 3 or 4 episodes, I feel like. Because it was Yamada, she just chased him down, actually grabbed him and stopped him from leaving, and just asked him oh, is it me? Am I am I doing something wrong? And I'm so glad about this, like I feel like this is something that has, like, I've seen so many people, like, like, kind of compare anime and say, like, oh, how old anime were better and stuff, like, which is one of the most weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, yeah, old animes are definitely good. I have so many old animes that I just love so much. But just regarding current, like, good animes, to kind of say, like, oh, old animes were better, that's completely crap. I don't believe that. So, like, I've seen so many people just how, like, like, just say that, oh, old is, like, good, like, nowadays animes are so bad, like, in this whole weird way of just, I feel like there's one thing, like, I feel like everyone can agree in, that nowadays animes have so much lesser drama, and I feel like that's so much better. Like, I remember old animes have drama, so much drama. Like, just watch a 90s rom-com anime. Good God, packed with drama. Like, like, it's crazy. There would be one misunderstanding and it would go on for like 10 episodes of that misunderstanding not getting resolved, and just so frustrating. And I and it's kind of weirdly addictive as well. I remember I don't know what to say. It's so weirdly addictive as well at the same time. I remember, like, this is why I don't really watch, old rom-com shows. Very rarely I watch them. I remember watching, like, like, I don't know why, but I suddenly thought that, what, even if I'm not really, like, used to these type of rom-com shows with this high amount of drama, let me just watch one. And I remember watching My Son Ikkoku, if I've, like, watched it. Oh, that was an experience. Good lord. A very good experience, but at the same time, so frustrating with the whole drama. Like, My Son Ikkoku, like, it was a great show though. Like I said, even though it's packed with drama, you know, it is just, like, so addictive. But yeah, like, one thing I'm genuinely, like, kind of happy, like, nowadays animes have lowered the drama so much, like, especially rom-coms. Like, the drama is so less, and I'm so glad about that. Like I said, this episode, probably, if this was like in the 90s, this whole misunderstanding that happened would probably drag up to like 5 or 6 episodes, and then it would probably come to a conclusion. Thank God that's not what's happening. Like, it was just a few, like, moments it took for Yamada to completely clear that up. But yeah, yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop it here. So thank you for watching, guys. If you guys, and this was episode number 9 of The Dangers in My Heart. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed, comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of The Dangers in My Heart. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.